I think if you're there for an action movie,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Oh, yeah, 100%, 100%. Like Daniel and I looked at each other when it was over, and we're like, wow. But there's like 3 times, and I'm sure you're going to touch on them, where something in the movie, like we kind of looked at each other and just gave us the thumbs up, like, that was awesome. This is Corey Jones with the Be Ready with Safety Man podcast. Join us every week for a new podcast. Follow us everywhere podcasts are played, and on YouTube, Be Ready with Safety Man. This is Corey Jones.
All right, here we are.
We are live. The Safety Man podcast coming to you from the Safety Man studios in sunny Mount Laurel, New Jersey.
Yes, it is sunny out today. It's actually nice. Which is crazy because I drove home from work last night. It was 32 degrees in the morning. I woke up and it's 60-something. So welcome to New Jersey.
Bizarro world.
Yes, welcome to Jersey. We got one that I'm excited to talk about. John Wick 4. We got 2 officers here giving our opinions on John Wick 4. So,
Are we going to be serious in this, or are we?
No, we can do whatever we want.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of not seriousness, but there is a little bit of seriousness.
No, it's good. Yeah.
So you just saw it. I just saw it. We saw it separately. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of going to throw our opinions together and go from there. So I'll start with you. I mean, I got a ton of notes. So you lead the way, and I'm going to follow you what I got at some things that were kind of happening.
You kind of alluded to it. You hit the nail on the head. As a retired police officer, I went into this. You did spoil it a little bit. You said, I told you I was going, and you had already seen it. And you said, just so you know, it's wild. So I'm like, okay, it's going to be wild. And it was. I went with my oldest son, and, my youngest son, and we both enjoyed it. You have to suspend disbelief a little bit. Would I suspend?
A lot of disbelief
you
have to suspend. I'm going to start with a kill count, okay? So, I broke down the kill counts, and now this was an estimate for the 4th one, but this is obviously John Wick 4. Mm-hmm. The first one had 77 kills. Really? The second one went up to 128. The third one went down to 94. This one is estimated, at the first initial counts that I saw right through there, was at 140, which makes it the most kill counts in a John Wick movie ever. And I broke down the time. Mm-hmm. There is a killing on the screen time every minute and 20 seconds on average.
Wow. Wow. And people wonder why I can't sleep at night.
So, I mean, listen, you got to go in this realizing it's an action movie, and you have to bring the disbelief. I think the only thing that kind of struggle with the first one, I love the plot. I think it's the best plot is the original first one. Second one was okay. The third one, I liked it, started to bring it back. The fourth one, there was very little plot to it. It's just massive killing, massive over-the-top energy. And I want to get down to some of the scenes, but I think if you're there for an action movie, it's awesome.
Oh, yeah, 100%, 100%. Like Daniel and I looked at each other when it was over, and we're like, wow. But there's like 3 times, and I'm sure you're going to touch on them, where something in the movie, like we kind of looked at each other and just gave us the thumbs up, like, that was awesome.
Yeah, there's a couple really cool scenes, and I think so the thing about the movie is...
Or should we say this real quick? Spoiler alert?
Yeah, a lot of spoilers.
Massive spoiler alert.
So there's a lot of great scenes. Now, Keanu did a lot of training for this, even like the nunchuck scenes.
Yeah.
He was training. I saw behind-the-scene videos, and that's the one thing I really liked about Keanu. So when I first saw John Wick, and I think maybe we touched on this slightly before, when I first saw the original John Wick, it was something different than I've ever seen in any other kind of shoot-'em-up kind of film. And I said to myself, this guy has been trained by some kind of professional. Like, not just like, Hollywood stuff. Now, granted, there's a lot of Hollywood stuff in there, but like the actual techniques, the way he shoots and moves and turns and reloads and things like that, you can tell he was professionally trained.
Absolutely.
Did you get that feeling too?
100%, 100%. And there's some videos that have been leaked online that showed him training with some people, his mag releases and all that stuff with the M4 and the transition and all that was really good. I've actually had clients come to me and say, "Can you train me to shoot like John Wick?" I said, "Not today, but we can embark on that journey, certainly."
So the one thing I saw him do, I guess in this film, maybe I never noticed it in the other ones, he did and I don't know what the actual terminology is, he did like the mag release, or like he had a jam, and he would actually like do a turn clear. Mm-hmm. Does that have a name? I don't know if that actually has a name to it, but he was doing like the dump clear, which I don't see a lot of people actually do. It's when you have a jam, instead of trying to fizzle it out up top, you just let gravity do the work for you, and you kind of turn your weapon and let it kind of come out naturally.
The Israelis do that a lot. They're in the canting the weapons a lot in between shots, but they do it naturally. They'll shoot whatever their string of fire is, then they'll come down. You'll see them cant it real quick.
In case there's a jam or to clear something out.
I think it's so they can just
see.
So here's a funny. This is how I found this out. So I think it's just so they can kind of just see that their slide and everything is back in lockup again, so it's good to go. So when I first went to my first SWAT school, LAPD's coming out and they're training us. And I'm shooting and I'm doing this. And the guy sees me doing it, and he has no problem calling you out. He called me and goes, Jones, what are you doing? And I didn't know why I was doing it. I had just seen somebody else do it. So I'm like, he goes, it's okay, kid. Just know why you're doing it.
Yes. So you did see some of that in the movie, in the film. He did some press checks where he would check his round in there and stuff like that, which you never really see in movies as well. Magazine changes. He actually does magazine changes, which in a lot of films they shoot 300 rounds, and like you're like, that can only hold like maybe 13 rounds max, and you just shot 45 shots without a magazine change. So how did that work? So that was crazy. So a couple of great scenes that stood out. The one that I love the most, and this is the first movie I've ever seen with this ammo, which is a real ammo, the Dragon's Breath ammo, which is it's an illegal ammo.
Right.
Just so you're at home.
Don't get it.
Dude, that is, I mean, depending, I don't know, maybe some states out there allow it, but that is an illegal ammo, but it is a real ammo. Basically, it's a shell that explodes and basically shoots fire as that, which I gotta assume it's gotta be one of the worst ways to die.
Yeah.
Is that not only did you get shot by a shotgun shell and you're bleeding out, but now you're on fire at the same time.
So what I liked about it is think of the psychological effect that had on other bad guys watching the people on your team just getting exploded. They got shot and they're exploding. You're like, that's got to take you out of your game for a little bit. That's why I liked it.
So that scene I thought was awesome, the way they shot it over top. And they actually got it from a video game. So they got the idea from a video game where they shot it over the top and you could see from, room to room, which also I thought was cool. It's almost like a shoot house.
Yeah.
So like same thing for police training, some places have what's called a shoot house, and basically the instructors can stand above the room and watch the way they enter, the way they turn, where they're going, and they actually use this for training. So this was actually a pretty cool thing as well to see an actual kind of shoot house live on screen.
And it made it seem like the action never stopped. Like even when they had to cut, I was paying attention to that. I know you're counting kills. I'm like counting cuts. And I'd seen, I'm like, this is incredible. Like I was out of breath watching it.
Yes.
That was just an incredible scene.
And just the way they move, the timing, the way he maneuvers. Now, a couple of the, I will say, stretched.
Okay.
A couple of the stretch things here. Okay. There is bulletproof jackets and things that presidents wear, and they have them up there. I actually looked it up today before the show. I found one online. You could buy a blazer for, it was like $1,800 Kevlar level 3 blazer. But how realistic is that going to stop? Yeah, just holding up the coat, like, is that going to...
No. You're going to know that, like, it's not a car, right? It's still fabric. It still has to take that 400 foot-pounds of pressure, and you're not going to do that for 40, 50 rounds.
Yes. And if you've ever seen an actual Kevlar vest get shot, once it gets, struck once or twice, it destroys the kind of grip, I guess you want to say, the Kevlar has.
Yeah, the fabric.
The fabric will just kind of, it's like a catch. Like a Kevlar is like basically like a catch. Like think of a glove catching a ball, the way that weaves together, like microscopically, basically.
And which is it designed to do? That's exactly what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to take the force of the bullet and spread it out, right? And as those little Kevlar fibers or whatever to make them out, there's different aramids and things. As that breaks, it's dissipating the energy of the bullet. That's why, like you're alluding to, you can't get shot 86 times in the same vest. They do pressure test some vests, and they put rounds next to each other to show you that you could get an A shootout with 3 or 4 rounds, but not 80.
Yes, it's not going to get you. Plus, the other thing, too, is, right, with the way he had his jacket, like he was putting his jacket up over his head, and, okay, great. That's still force. Like, it's not a shield, or it's like a ballistic shield. It's like, if you put your shirt up and I punch you, my fist isn't going to just stop in the shirt. It's going to come through and hit you in the head or the body. Like, it's still going to feel a full pressure. And there's videos of police that have been struck by bullets. It's still going to knock you down. Now, you're going to be able to get back up, and you're going to realize you're not bleeding. But it's getting, like, punched by Mike Tyson. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to get stumbled back. You're not going to just take shots to the jacket and be like, okay, I'm going to keep pulling through this. So I thought that was a little too much because they were using it a lot. Like,
I think they overdid. They overplayed that a little bit. What do they call it? Jumping the shark? Or is that? They overplayed that just a little bit. Yeah. Like once I got used to it, they could have switched to another tactic.
Yeah, I get it once or twice, but they were using that a whole lot and kind of a little bit of overkill, I guess you would say.
Pardon the pun.
Pun intended. A little bit of an overkill for that segment.
And it sounds like we're beating up on the movie. We're not. I think we both really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We're having fun.
Yeah, and just a couple things that stood out to us. Because people are going to ask. Like, people that aren't in the police world, they're going to, like, can you really get jackets that do that? Like, people are going to think, like, they can. Like I said, it might stop a round or two. You're still going to have a huge bruise. It might even break some ribs, or break a bone. I mean, that's how much pressure is coming through there. It's just going to stop physically going into your body, hopefully. And plus, the other thing, too, is those ballistic jackets are level 3 jackets, which means, if you don't know at home, they stop maybe a handgun round. They're not going to stop a high-end rifle. Like, there was rifle shots going off there, like...
Yeah, it's not going to stop a 223 or a 308 rifle. It'll stop buckshot. It'll stop handgun rounds. And when we say stop, we're using lowercase s there. It's slowing it down, dissipating the energy like we explained earlier. It's kind of like you block a punch from Mike Tyson. Your forearm, as you alluded to, is still going to hit you in the face, and you still got to deal with that force. This is just spreading it out. Spreading it out. Let's try English.
And so the other thing, too, is, and if you don't understand, too, between a rifle and a handgun round, for the most part, I've seen firsthand in a training situation the differences between these ammos, rounds. And so to put it in perspective, right, you would say, well, a handgun round might be able to stop, that or whatever. I've seen a rifle round where we set up a situation where we had a metal car door, okay? Behind the car door, we had wood, and we had a Kevlar vest, simulating like an officer sitting behind the car door is basically what we were simulating. We took a rifle round, 223, shot it. It went through the car door, metal, through all of it, went through the front of the vest, went through the wood, went through the back of the vest, and kept going.
Yep.
So that just shows you the force of a 223 round, or one of these rifle rounds they had in the film. That jacket would not even...
No, he wouldn't even know it was there. Like, there's a waste of time.
Yeah. So that was a little bit. The other thing that was that killed me was, okay, I get it, the shootouts and stuff. The dude got hit by a car, I think 6 times I counted.
At least. I twist my knee, get out of bed in the middle of the night. I don't know how you can get hit by a car. Maybe his bulletproof jacket helped.
He got hit by a car, I think at least, from what I was counting, 5 or 6 times, and he fell out a window and landed on a car.
And destroyed it. And he got hit by a car and punched into another car from that car.
So that was the other extent that was just way over the top, and I was like, wow, okay, I get me bumped by one car, but you got hit by 6, dude. Like,
yeah. And no, be nice, Corey. No cops showed up at all for the whole movie. There's a major shootout at the base of the Eiffel Tower, probably one of the 10 most protected sites in the world, you would think.
Yes.
Maybe a cop would show up.
And here, the 2 other scenes that were just ridiculous listen, when I say ridiculous, it's ridiculous because it's not realistic, but ridiculous because it was awesome at the same time.
Yeah.
So the scenes were awesome, but just not realistic. Was the club scene where people were just still dancing.
Yeah.
And he's just slaughtering people, and then it wasn't until, like, I think 13 people got killed, and then they finally we're going to run away.
Yeah, let's run, hide, fight now. I think there's an active shooter.
Yeah. So that scene was just crazy. And then the scene when they're going, and forgive me, I don't know what the name of the plaza is, or that roundabout. It's a famous...
the Arc de Triomphe.
Oh, is that what it's called? See, there we go. And so the car is like, okay, I get it at the first, but when there's an active shootout, at some point within that 15 minutes of that shot's being... Like, the first 30 seconds, those cars are going to stop.
Yeah.
Like, and just... but there's an active shootout going, and these cars are just still going around.
Hey, kids, Big Ben, Parliament. Chevy Chase, I saw him twice.
Yeah, and they keep going, keep driving around. But that was, again, another awesome scene. Like, that was so cool, like the way they shot it with the cars going around and going there. So Keanu Reeves said, I think, less than 400 words in the entire film.
He was not very talkative.
And so apparently the reason that was is because China is the second biggest market for these kinds of action movies. And in Chinese films, like, it's all action, very little talk.
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of thing. So it was kind of pushing towards that market again, is what they were kind of aiming at, because that's, a huge market for them. But yeah, besides those couple things, I mean, that I really liked the film. I really thought it was awesome. I had a couple Easter eggs or things I was going to talk about as well to throw in there. So one was Donnie Yen, who is the blind assassin, which I thought was really cool the way they did it. He actually played a blind semi-Jedi in Rogue One. So,
Okay.
and he is not blind in real life.
No, he's Ip Man.
Yeah.
Did you see the series of 4 movies, Ip Man?
No.
So it's based on Ip Man. Some people call it Yip Man. He is a real Wing Chun master. Not anymore. He's passed away. But he was Bruce Lee's first Wing Chun master.
Really?
Yeah, and Donnie Yang plays Ip Man, all 4 of them. There's subtitles in them, and they're great movies. You want to talk about action?
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to add this to my list of films to see that I haven't seen.
4 of them.
4.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely have to see it. So there is going to be right now. So spoiler alert: John Wick 4 is probably the conclusion. I'm not gonna say too much, but it's probably the conclusion of the storyline, but is not the end of the John Wick universe. So basically, they are making a film that occurs apparently between episode 3 and episode 4 called The Ballerina. That's supposed to be coming out next year.
Mm-hmm.
John Wick, Keanu Reeves, will be making an appearance in the film. It is based off of Ana de Armas. She is the female from episode 3, where she's wearing like that little tight, sexy black dress, and she's going crazy with him. It's based off of her and the ballerinas and things like that. So that is called Ballerina. And then coming out later this year is a prequel to all the John Wick films called The Continental. It's going to be on Peacock, and it's 3 episodes that are an hour and a half each, and it's based on a young Winston in New York City coming up. I guess the opening of the Continental and how he got involved in that. So the universe is going to keep expanding.
I just got to throw this out there.
Yeah.
The dog.
Yeah, the dog was awesome.
You know I'm a dog guy, so the dog had me locked. And if they killed the dog, I was going to walk out of the movie. Like
I thought that was going to happen, but it was awesome.
I thought he was going to get run over at the Eiffel Tower, but they threw him up on top of the cars, and he was just running from the rooftop to rooftop. And then that poor guy just got balls. He just kept
nuts.
Getting... Yeah, I loved it.
The other cool thing about the John Wick series, I think everyone except the second one involved like some kind of dogs. So Halle Berry had the trained dogs in episode 3. So I thought that was cool. And episode 2 was my least favorite. So maybe it was that because there wasn't main dogs in the film. So when they brought back dogs in 3. Now in 2 he had the dog. I think he just gave it to Winston to watch for him or something like that. But there wasn't like attack dogs, which I thought was really cool. I liked the introduction of the new character, Nobody. Nobody, right?
Yeah.
But I wish there was a little more backstory on him. So I don't know if that's going to be a future thing too.
So if you like him, on Apple TV Plus, there's a series when aliens come to the Earth, and that guy is in it, and he does a fantastic job. Okay. So put that on your list too. I can't remember what it's called, but there's only one where, like The Arrival, some play on words like that.
Yeah.
And he plays a Marine, and he's in. They might be in Afghanistan when the aliens get there, and it just follows him through.
The one cool thing he definitely, there was a couple cool things. But the one thing he had in there that was actually, it's a realistic product. And I don't know if you've ever seen this. It might be something we might have to get and show on stream here. He had that backpack with a pull out.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
That's cool. If you don't, there's a scene in the movie, he has a backpack. It's just a normal backpack looking thing. But there's a pull out, and you can actually pull it out. It turns into a vest, and it goes over your chest, and it has like your weapon or your ammo molly vested kind of set up that way. That's a cool product.
So it is a great product, and you know what's kind of sad about that? I've actually had clients reach out to me because of active shooters in schools. They want to get those backpacks for their kids.
Yeah, that's
like,
a little.
I get it. I'm not mad at them for wanting to do that, but it's a big hurdle to train your kid to have to put on body armor.
Yeah, it's
legal.
It's
you can
legal.
Do it.
It's just a depressing thing to think about that you have to send your kid to school with that, which is a whole other topic. But for training purposes or going to the range or just having like a go bag in your car, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And he pulled it out. It goes right over your head, and so that was a pretty cool thing. But I would love to see a little more backstory on that guy. Like, is he military? Is he a police officer? You know, what's his background that it got him to this point? So I think that was a kind of blind spot of saying, you know, where did this guy come from? What's his upcoming?
Did you like his rifle?
Yeah.
That lever action?
Yeah. What did you think of that?
I'm not a lever action guy.
Okay.
It hurts my hands. I know, it hurts my hands. But it was interesting because they wanted a rifle, but that's a pistol caliber rifle, so we could still keep it in the universe of body armor, right? Stopping it because it wasn't an M4, it wasn't an AK. It's a big pistol round. I mean, it's a heavy round. It's moving, but it still is a pistol caliber rifle.
Oh, okay. All right. So, and then the other thing I had was just that it was a shame that so the real actor Lance Reddick dies. In real life, he has just passed away, so rest in peace. So I was curious, and I didn't really maybe dig too deep into that, and something I'll look a little more. I wonder if he was actually in the film more, and they CGI'd the killing of him, because he passed away. So I don't know.
He passed only 2 weeks ago.
That's what I mean. So I don't know if that was planned or not, or they were like, oh, we have to change this because he's passing away.
Yeah.
So, like, was that something last minute they filmed and changed? I don't know what the story was.
I looked for that, too. I couldn't find anything on that.
Yeah.
It's really soon, so hopefully they keep that close to the vest for a little while.
Yeah. So, I don't know what the plan was there. Because he played in The Wire, which is an awesome series, and I always liked him as a character. He could always play multiple, like, he's one of those guys that, like, he would be in a role and, like, have a complete different, like, I would assume he would, like, be playing this kind of role, and then all of a sudden I see him, like, no, he's completely different.
Yeah.
So
he's solid too.
Yeah.
He's solid.
So I liked him in there. Unfortunately, he passed away. That's a spoiler alert. The villain, I think, was pretty good. Played that snobby French role. Like, pretty well.
Yeah, you wanted to strangle him like within 4 minutes, right?
Yeah, just had that snobby look about him. You're like, I don't know why, but I just don't like this guy.
Nope.
So
that means he did a good job, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He created that character development right out of the gate.
Yes. So action scenes just galore in this film. Going there, realizing that there's a lot of over-the-top, unrealistic situations. And I think that's, if people are saying this is the best John Wick movie ever, I think the first one's still the best.
I agree. Because you didn't know what to expect, right?
Yes.
Like you said, you're like, oh my God, this guy's actually trained. He's actually doing stuff, that we learn and that we teach people. So that really, really, like, wow, okay.
And I think the first one did a really good job of explaining some little key points. Like, for example, like, all right, this dude just murdered 10 people in his house. Like, now, how does he clean that up? And then people show up to clean that up.
Yeah.
So, like, we're in the middle of France. There is 144 dead bodies everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Are the police not investigating?
Well, they didn't show up, so.
What's going on in France with the police department there? Could someone let us know if you're an officer in France? What is happening there? Do you guys not respond? I know you got riots and going on and stuff there, so.
They're a little busy.
They're busy maybe right now dealing with the 104. Imagine waking up that next day, that call, we need you to respond down the scene.
Who's got the duty? Everybody.
There's 37 bodies here on these steps.
And nobody called it in.
Not one 911 call at all.
No.
So, I enjoyed it, though. It's a lot of fun. Keanu Reeves goes over the top and just takes all his training next level. Even the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Just, realistic stuff like rolling, arm bars, takedowns, like, real kind of moves that are choke outs,
Yeah, he was doing chokes. He was doing arm bars. He was doing legs. He almost had somebody in a triangle. Plus mixing it in with the fight scenes. Now, I almost forgot about this. How many steps did he fall down? So we had a kill count.
Yeah.
How many steps did he fall down?
It has to be 100.
So she says you're going to take the 222 steps up there, and he almost got to the top, fell back down. Almost got to the top, fell back down. That was hard for me to watch. Like that, I'm like, oh, it hurts. People were in this theater laughing. At that, I heard people laughing. Yeah. And it just kept falling.
It was like comedic relief at the same time, But I liked it. As a police officers, I think we can kind of give it the green light, thumbs up.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Definitely go check it out and enjoy it. Go in there with an open mind, just enjoy it.
Indeed.
Yes. So thank you for hanging out with us on the Safety Man podcast. Check out Corey's stuff.
SAFETYMAN.co, keeping you safe, alive, and happy.
All right, and follow us on all social media, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you.